I was working at a hedge fund in 2006 and 7. My father had sold his business, was looking for something to do, and I invited him to join us in the hedge fund to help us raise money. Through a series of events in the hedge fund business where we were raising money, we were having a really good conversation about starting our own fund, which we started in 2007. And unfortunately, in 2008, my dad had an unexpected 𝗍𝘗 arrest, which is a type of heart attack, passed away. And my last conversation with my father happened to be about something which was not something you want to have your last conversation with your father be about. It led me to exploring a new career because we had no business succession plan. My father did not develop an estate plan. My father was married to his third wife. I spent the next 6 months battling a pretty messy estate battle. And out of frustration and searching, I decided that I wanted to do something bigger than simply raising money for a hedge fund. It brought me to financial planning, where we help clients protect their balance sheets and families, grow their wealth, and ultimately take care of what matters most. I was working in the hedge fund space back in 2006 and 7. My father had just sold the business that he had started and was looking for something to do. And I invited my father to join us because he had a lot of great connections internationally to help us raise money in the hedge fund space. Through a series of conversations, together we decided to start our own fund that we launched in late 2007 and 8. It was amazing having that much time with my father personally and professionally. But unfortunately, in late 2008, right around the Lehman Brothers collapse and everything melting in the markets, I got a phone call from my father's third wife. I was at Fenway Park, that my dad had a 𝗍𝘗 arrest, which is a type of heart attack, and unfortunately passed away. And my last conversation with my father was about nothing I wanted my last conversation to be with my father about. It led to a series of frustrations and challenges because we never had a business succession plan. We never had a personal estate plan for my father after he remarried. And the same way my father came in this country as an immigrant with virtually nothing is essentially the way that he left. But he left us with a seed of the story and what we could create from it, which is what brought me to this business, because I wanted my personal frustration of battling my father's third wife and all that happened post my father's passing to really be a lesson that I can help others learn in a way that I did not have to learn it through proper planning, coordination, taking care of families, businesses, and really helping families thrive from, frankly, the lessons my father taught me inadvertently. I don't know how anyone does anything different. I love it. I mean, from my perspective, to be able to correlate to things our clients are going through, to be able to relate to various situations that they're going through. Another example of that is, we talk a lot to our clients about the importance of how financial well-being ties into our health and our health well-being. I got that lesson early on in my childhood too, as when I was 15 and 19, battling pediatric cancer. And so, as a two-time cancer survivor, I know mortality risk. I know life is not forever. I know this idea that we all plan for our clients' future that says retirement will be one, two, three, four, five. And I think that perspective helps me bring back to our clients this idea that, listen, retirement is one thing, and we have to enjoy our life in the present because tomorrow's promised to nobody. So, how do we satisfy both your present self and your future self in a way that both of you feel fulfilled with the plan that we're building? It's not so much about a number. It's about, are you open-minded to the possibility? Are you open to the help? Are you open to having a relationship with trusted partners in our team, which can facilitate where you're trying to get to from where you are? And we meet people at different places of where they are. Some people certainly have balance sheets that are different than other places. But one thing that everyone has in common is they want the help. And yes, you have to have resources clearly to cook the meal, to obviously prepare the things for your future, but you just have to want the help and be open-minded to the coaching that we can help provide you. It's not a judgment based off of a number. It's not a judgment based off what you've done or haven't done. It's really just a conversation that says, do we have a mutual connection that you want to get somewhere? We're the right team to help you. What do we do next? They say things to us like, where were you 10 years ago? Right? They say things to us like, how come I have not heard that before? They say things to us like, if this is true, why isn't everybody else doing it? And those are all ways to validate that what we're doing for them is truly meaningful in different ways and forms. And it really touches us because it's not just about the numbers, it's about what we're helping them accomplish with those numbers. These people are feeling more confident, they're feeling more secure, they're feeling more enabled, they feel like they're in control of their capital, they feel like we're serving them in their best interests. And to us, that's everything. Ultimately, our work is about you feeling a sense of confidence. It's about you feeling a sense of fulfillment. It's about you feeling like you're getting to a destination that you otherwise did not know was possible without the coaching and the help. It's about you feeling like the plan is working in your best interest. It's about you feeling like the people that matter most in your life, including yourself, are taken care of. And ultimately, it's about you feeling like you have a partner in this journey where it all doesn't come down on you, but it comes down on us together. The way I know we're doing good, I'm doing good, the team's doing good, however we want to phrase that, is because our clients tell us, and they tell us three ways. They tell us, number one, directly, where were you 10 years ago? How come I didn't know about this sooner? I feel so much better than when I did when I first came in the office today, or something along those lines. They tell us indirectly by introducing close people like friends, family, business partners, colleagues, other people in their communities that they care about that they want to have the same experience. And the third way that they tell us is by coming to our events, attending the things that we put on for groups, by taking the time out of their busy schedules to not just attend a direct meeting, but come to a social event, an education event, a learning forum where we gather as a community as one and hopefully have a little fun together along the way. Sometimes it's not okay. And sometimes our clients need to hear that. And I'm not here to blow smoke at people and tell people that fairy dust and fairy tales are going to be present for everybody. I'm here to be a conductor of the truth. And what can we do based off the current fact pattern that a client has and where they're slated to go, and what can we do about it? Sometimes we meet people late in life and they're undersaved for retirement. Sometimes we meet people who have kids that are about to go to college in a year and they're freaking out because they haven't saved a penny. And I can't sit there and tell them that it's going to be okay and it's all going to work out. All we can sit there and do is strategize about what we can do from that point forward. The hardest thing to do is when we know that picture is murky, but we have to hold our client's hand proverbially and navigate them through those woods so that whatever we can do, we get done. But telling the truth is not always easy. I just don't think it's as hard as we advisors or clients perceive it to be in navigating some of these planning conversations. I think there's a lot of terms. I think there's a lot of lingo. I think there's a lot of noise that really makes all of this a lot harder than it needs to be. It complicates the truth. Ultimately, we believe this comes down to being great stewards of income under management. The income you earn, where you put it, how to avoid things like unnecessary taxation and risk, and really just keeping it simple so we can make the decisions that seem hard in the most simplest form possible. All of the charts, all of the graphs, all the talking heads in the media, all of the books, all of the proverbial experts, they just talk about things that sometimes don't exactly have relevance to the core issues. So if we can just simplify it to the basics, it helps our clients make decisions that are effective and efficient without confusing them. And I think that's what allows our clients to navigate their future with confidence. Sure. People say, hey, what sector of the market should I be investing in? Or I read about this backdoor strategy. Or my next door neighbor told me about cryptocurrency. Or, hey, I was just thinking about doing derivative swaps or future trading. And all of that is interesting and it could work in various shapes and forms. But the simple stuff of taking more money than you make and putting it in places that are tax efficient and accessible, that grow at a rate that's greater than inflation is wealth creation, period. All of these different tags and names are adding different forms of complexity to something that if we can't do the basics, the complex shouldn't be applicable. People lie. People lie. I work in a marketplace that's called Henry's, high earners not rich yet. Okay. It's a distinct marketplace where people are doing well in their lives, but ultimately don't feel the proverbial word rich. And when you look at these types of folks from the outside, oftentimes the outside appearance is not the inside version of what you believe. You know, the big cars, the big houses, the big lifestyle, the big vacations, everyone believes everything's amazing when you look at their social media profiles. But when you look inside, it's dark. They're worried because they don't know if that next commission check's going to hit. They don't know if that next bonus check's going to hit. They're insecure about their jobs. They're insecure how they're sending their kids to these big six-figure-a-year universities. They don't know if they're ever going to retire in the same lifestyle that they currently have in their present. And they're using all of their cash flow to maintain this version of a lifestyle, which on the outside appears great, but in the inside, they're lying to themselves because they're not doing anything to take care of themselves and their future. And so my job is to come in there and tell them it's going to be okay. We don't have to lie to ourselves. We can do both. The question is how and how do we allocate it and how do I help you look as good on the inside as you do on the outside? And it's going to take a little bit of time, but stop hiding from the truth and let's get together and put a plan together where your future looks just as bright as your present. Um, how does shame play a role in all this? Shame plays a role all in this because I think society as a whole has this grand pressure on us. And so we feel this form of shame if we're not performing to that highest level of expectation because we've set up a perception or an expectation of what others believe our lives should look like and behave like. We just need to be true to ourselves and our loved ones and what we truly desire, right? Nobody cares 10 years from now that you drove a Range Rover or you lived in a $5 million house. You're going to care that, am I secure? Am I confident? Do the people around me surround me with love, passion, and care? Are the things I'm doing with my money the things that I want to be doing or that other people think I should be doing? And when we can start to answer those questions authentically and genuinely for ourselves, yes, maybe it does involve a nice car or a house. No one says you shouldn't have that. I love all that stuff too. The question is just how do you take care of yourself in perpetuity, not just for now? I hear this from time to time. And look, it really comes down to two things, right? They either believe that they have every possible piece of information available to them that's handled and known, and they feel confident about that, or they believe that there's a version of the cost structure which is not in alignment with the value creation. Both of those things I would argue aren't necessarily true because I myself working in this industry certainly don't know every piece of information that's available, which is why we work on a multifaceted team to approach this from a place of a virtual family office for our clients so that we do have expertise in all areas like tax planning, like investment management, like risk management, like cash flow planning, like business planning, and more. On the area of cost, the question I would first have is what is the value of your time and what is the value of being wrong? And I might offer for consideration that those two costs could be heavier than paying a known fee, which you will get a return of time and you will get expertise to get you to where you're going in likely a much more efficient way. So if we can have those conversations authentically and we can have true measuring barometers, which are not based off a rate of return, which is temporary, but a rate of progress. Tell us what you want to achieve over the course of the next 12 to 36 months. And let's set sail on a plan that says, how are we doing towards your goals? And then from there, you can evaluate if the financial consideration you paid towards that was worth it. Because if there's one thing I know working with all of these clients over the years, it's none of us have a surplus of time and none of us know everything that there is to know about all areas of this world of finance. Our clients who tell us that they want to own an Airbnb, right? Or they want to become real estate based investors because they heard somewhere on social media, through their accountant, through their friends, et cetera, about what an amazing wealth creation vehicle it is, what an amazing tax reduction vehicle it is, what an amazing way it is to diversify a portfolio. When they don't know the stories of the landlord, they don't understand what it's like to have tenant risk. They don't understand that they live in New Hampshire, but they're buying a property in Tennessee and it doesn't sound as great as a Zoom call. And they don't understand everything that's involved with something that they don't necessarily have expertise in yet. Now, that's not to say that they shouldn't do it, but to your exact point, what we really need to get to is what are you truly trying to accomplish? Is it diversified cash flow? Is it tax reduction strategy? Do you really want to live in Tennessee someday? Like, let's truly understand what we're trying to accomplish. And I think what we'll see from there is it might not necessarily be owning something you've never owned, taking on risk that you might not necessarily understand exists in a way that you may not get to where you're trying to get to in the most efficient manner possible. And so it's the job of the team and myself to evaluate all those options so you truly understand, okay, one option might be the Airbnb, but are there other options that can get me to a similar place with less risk and more confidence? I think the most important thing that we work on is people planning. And what I mean by that is not about the numbers. It's about the people in your life and the people in your business that matter the most. What can we do to serve you, your family, and your business in the most efficient way possible from where you are now to where you want to get to, where we work on two concurrent paths, which is the wealth creation path and the wealth protection path. It's not about how did we do last quarter in the market. It's not about how much taxes did I pay last year. It's not about what did my cash flow look like. All of those are simple data points around people planning. And if we can really bring it back to what is most meaningful to your family, what is most meaningful to you, what is most meaningful to your business, those are the goals that we should set sail on, not some arbitrary things that exist on spreadsheets that really don't matter if we can't contextualize them into the people and things that do.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not to be construed as tax, legal, or investment advice. Although the information has been gathered from sources believed to be reliable, please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon only when coordinated with individual professional advice. Guest speakers and their firms are not affiliated with or endorsed by 𝘗𝘗𝘗𝘗𝘓, Guardian, and opinions stated are their own. Guardian, its subsidiaries, agents, and employees do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. Consult your tax, legal, or accounting professional regarding your individual situation. This video is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the presenter and may not be those of Guardian or its subsidiaries. Hub Wealth Strategies offers fee-based planning, wealth advisory services, and securities through Park Avenue Securities LLC, PAS, and insurance through the 𝘬𝘓 Group Insurance Agency, LLC. Fee-based plans may include tax and wealth planning suggestions, but we do not give tax or legal advice. You should consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your individual situation. Jan J. Katz is an investment advisor and registered representative of PAS and financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, supervised from 160 Gould Street, Suite 310, Needham, Massachusetts, 02494-781-449-4402. PAS is a member of FINRA and SIPC and a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Hub Wealth Strategies and the 𝘬𝘓 Group are affiliated, but neither firm is an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. Hub Wealth Strategies and the 𝘬𝘓 Group are not registered in any state or with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission as a registered investment advisor. Jan Katz, California Insurance License Number OG82761, Florida Insurance License Number P207313, 8872786.1, expires April 2028.